Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews where today we have ourselves a track by an act named lildrakex titled the Squirrel Song. And if we switch over to here we have ourselves a track on the screen on YouTube. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, what have we got?
The year is 2016. Yo, why the fuck is this cop flashing me while I'm minding my own business, taking a pee behind this park tree? I bet he's checking out my wee-wee. Let me just give him the finger. Oh fuck, now he's coming up to me. The reason I stopped you is looks like you were taking pee over there by the tree. Looks to me like decency. No, officer, I was getting a blowjob from a squirrel. Need anything else from me like my ID? Or maybe the ID of the squirrel, but I swear he told me he was 18. Stay right there, don't try to flee. Let me see that ID. Do you have any warrants or anything? Here it is for a backup. We have a real nutcase over here. I overhear. That's what he said before he gave me a head, I said. So let me get this straight. You pulled down your pants in that tree and the squirrel popped out and performed sodomy? For those of you not aware.
I mean, like, let's just stop for a moment. So basically, we've got the theme of someone trying to cover up the fact that they went, use the bathroom in a public place with a squirrel giving them a blowjob, which is in itself really an interesting premise. But in addition to that, you've got the situation where you've got the lounge chairs behind it with some sort of trap elements with the hip hop. You've got some really quick flow, like really smooth flow coming from the vocalist doing the different voices, and it's actually really well done. It's an unusual combination of elements, but it seems to work so far.
Sodomy, also known as buggery, is act of sticking your penis into anything other than a vagina. There's a misconception out there that it only refers to anal sex, something like that, but not quite. I didn't have to pull down my pants, it ran on my leg. In fact, maybe I'm the victim here, so don't try to stick those charges on me. The squirrel's Woody was clear to see, like the dog last week, he was only 3. Sounds to me like you're confessing to a felony. Well, officer, I didn't pass the bar, but I know a little bitch enough that BCLE is legal in the state of Nevada, so you have no cause to arrest me. Plus, the dog was on top and hard as a rock, not an enemies, can't pin on me, animal cruelty. We were just two consenting adults being a little bit naughty. I thought you said there was no border to see. He was behind, not in front of me. I thought you said the dog was 3. I'm not here to do the mad dog. I'm gonna have to check on all that. One sec, put your heads in my car. Do you have anything sharp in your pants? You probably don't even know how to spell bestiality. I'll give you a hint, it's the best. Let me know when I'm free to leave. I keep taunting the officer as he proceeds to search me. What's this jar of Nutella doing in your pants? Oh fuck, gonna be hard to get to this one. Now I was 50 yelling in the beginning about taking a pee. Let's just say the officer wasn't too fond of our interaction. No, my unnecessary confession. I should have lawyered up or listened to Jay-Z. You better stop fingering me. Oh, the irony. Please release me. I'll sue for police brutality. You'll see. Are the canines still gonna come?
I mean, it's nice to have the foley of like the handcuffs and everything like that, but it's also just a really fascinating tale. Storytelling is something that I think is really important in music. It's something that often gets overlooked because it's more about like how well you're singing often or how the beat is. But here, you can kind of get away with it being through composed because the guy's got a sense of humor. There's some clever stuff going on between the two people involved, and you kind of want to see where it ends.
More of the story is don't be a dick to the man with the stick. They can always find a reason to fuck with you or digitally you if you make it not like you. It's not worth the hassle. I know it's kind of hard to keep your cool, but do your very best not to act like a fool. You may be sitting in front of a stainless steel stool in front of dude neighbor who make you eat his stick while he's shitting on a stool. Looks like we're out of toilet paper. Oh no, there's some more right there. He proceeds to grab me by the hair with the grip of a bear into his bare asshole. What an asshole, I told you it was worth the hassle. The booking happened on a Friday night, should have had to fight for my life over the weekend. Just not get the rear end of a broom into my rear end. But I need this to say within 15 minutes I was in my first fist fight since high school. Only was his fist not mine, got me 2 at a time. Only it wasn't my face, his fists were pounding. It was like he was preparing me to smuggle a little kid. God forbid. Luckily the broomstick felt like a hot dog in a hallway. The very next day where I was supposed to be cleaning up my blood, shit and tears behind the sheet covered doorway. Money came in, finally got in front of the judge. Not guilty, my free to go lady. I heard you like taking out your penis in public parks. I'm sure you're aware there's a school near there, but it was 11 at night. Let's just say if you ever see me out on tour now, you know why there's no kids around unless it's a stadium show with the loophole of them being seated at least 2,000 feet towards the back row.
Okay. All right. So that took a bit of a turn, right? It took a bit of a turn at the end, but that's okay. We can get around this. So he's not allowed. Oh, okay. I don't know what's real and what's not, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get into the conclusion. So welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named lildrakex titled the Squirrel Song. Well, from what I understand, the track is about someone who was peeing behind a dumpster or something like that, and then the cop found him, and basically he basically made, I suppose, the joke of it being about a squirrel giving a blowjob and how bestiality was like legal where they were, and then eventually he got put in jail, And there are a lot of words, man. There are a lot of words in that section as well as everything else. So my brain kind of like glazed over at that point. Well, we got to the end part, and we satisfied. I think we end up kind of like sitting on the point where it was like we were told not to be around children because there was a school nearby after he pulled his dick out. I think, I think that's a decent exposure, right? So that's what the track is about. It's about his adventure with that in 2016, and I think it's cool to be able to sort of talk about stuff like that. I think storytelling needs to come from genuine experiences you've had. I haven't really heard this track, a story like this before from a musician, so it was kind of surreal, but I still think it was well done. In addition to that, I think we had a really great thing going on with the actual rapping itself. Not all the words came through clearly, but most of them did. I think it was just because of the speed that we were trying to get all of that context out in. But nevertheless, the parts I did get were eloquent. The guy clearly had a sense of humor, was really kind of polished with the voices that he was using, so nothing felt too kind of like disingenuous or inauthentic beyond the point of parody. I think that with the fact in mind that this was meant to sort of be a more humorous, lighthearted take on the situation, it makes sense that we had, with the frame of 3 minutes 10, like the song was very short, so we had to get the words out that quickly. And it obviously wasn't a song that was for kids. I mean, to be fair, the guys are allowed to be around kids anyways, but according to the story. But outside of that, I think we managed to do very well. We did very, very well with the rapping, and through Composed again, it was compelling to listen to from start to finish. And I think that we got what we wanted in there. We had the voices of the judge and everything like that, and then that statement at the end. So there was like more of a sort of theatrical feel to it rather than just a straightforward kind of hip-hop rap track, and I kind of dig that. So the attitude was there, the effort was there, and the flow was mostly really clear and spot on. I did have a good time with that. I think that outside of that, you had that main motif with a bit of brass in there, the jazzy undertones there, the trappish kind of drums and that bass line kind of simmering the low end there. It sounded like it was almost like trying to sort of cater to a lot of people enjoy about modern hip hop and rap, but it was also trying to add a sense of sort of weird sophistication to it with those kind of elements there. And it was almost like at the same time, the kind of had like a minorish kind of tone to it, but then some kind of like interesting kind of mid to high elements there that added a bit of a shimmer to a drama to it, if I can say that. So basically, it was definitely, the theme was there more to sort of like provide a foundation for the storytelling with that, the vocals being the focal point. And, that was good. Ultimately, I don't really think we needed to do anything differently with how the theme was composed. The track, we started off slowly, we introduced elements gradually, and then for most of the track we had everything else with some occasional pauses or something like that as we went along, but mainly it was there as a constant so that, again, you were absorbed in the story. And I don't think there was a note out of place with it. I think that the motif followed alongside the root note fairly loyally and never really went too far away from that. And I it's interesting to see, honestly, like with that in mind, kind of how relatively neutral the theme was in comparison to the vocals and the storytelling. It'd be interesting to see what else lildrakex does with other songs and themes that he wants to discuss. But that's cool. I think that, again, that moderation, that relative conservativeness with the backing is a smart move to kind of balance out some of the more kind of meatier parts of what was going on in the vocals. But moving on beyond that, I think the recording, mixing, and mastering was good. I think at 3 minutes 10, the track was short enough to fit in a 2 to 4 minute sweet spot. So basically, if you got the story good, if you got the vocals pretty well done, and if the theme is palatable and supportive of what else is going on, it kind of balances to a state of equilibrium, you've basically just got to get the studio production right. And I think that the vocals sounded pretty clear for the most part. I'm undecided as to whether the main vocals were louder than the mix. They didn't necessarily sound like they were swimming in them, but that's fine. You don't necessarily have to have it absolutely kind of commercial grade for it to be good. It's just, and again, I'm not one to judge because for a lot of my earlier reviews, I was still figuring that out, So like, again, it's just literally just me being honest about this kind of stuff. I think the vocals were well leveled though. As we went on, they seemed to sink into the mix really well. They were definitely very noticeable, and they were punchy in the mix. The drums were nicely sidechained there and came in when they needed to. The bass was nice and supportive in that low end and just kind of round and kind of like mooched around with the root notes of the chords and the harmonies, which were relatively few and far between just so due to the simplicity of the motif. And the other mid to high sort of synth layers or any sort of like jazzy brash stuff that was going on there was palatable in the mid to high ones and stacked well. And there were no resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum. Things were nice and wide in the stereo field. And, there was dynamic range to it. Things weren't kind of the same loudness the entire time to it. It wasn't kind of tiring like that. It was almost refreshing in a sense because there was kind of room to breathe within the mix itself. And it was nice and loud without pumping. I mean, effectively, this is my review of this track by lildrakex titled The Squirrel Song, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you're the help on there with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.